Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajwa and I hope this video finds you well. If you are new to this place, please consider subscribing, and to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support and welcome back. So I have 10 fragrances in this video that I believe are not like the most friendly, especially for people who are new to fragrances. Even for people who are quite experienced, some have found these ones quite challenging, or some of these ones quite challenging. So I will not recommend them to people who are sort of new into the whole fragrance collection, or are beginning to collect and would want something quite mass appealing and beginner friendly. These ones, they are either polarizing, even offensive to some people, so these are the 10 that I have in my collection. So I'll start with the very first one, which is Glad the New Intense Woman by Armaf, which is a clone of Tom Ford's Noir de Noir. It is an oud and rose combo with some vanilla, and some sort of truffle in it. It is quite earthy, but quite unisex in nature. But to me, I will not necessarily consider this one as a mass appealing scent for beginners. It can be a little too much because of that truffle, chocolatey, earthy touch to it. It is not one that you get a lot of people raving about all the time, that it is sweet and girly. You don't really get like a very feminine touch, although it is unisex. I think it's quite feminine, being a unisex fragrance, but it's not like the most feminine, gentle, mass appealing scent that you would want for your everyday use. This to me is like a special occasion fragrance that you pull out once in a while for those sort of evening date nights, once you are used to those kind of earthy rose oud vanilla combination. But I will not say it is the most gentle or the most mass appealing one to start with. So it is not one I will recommend for beginners. Once your nose gets used to a lot of other complex fragrances, then you can sort of go for this one, or have a try with this one. So that will be the first one. The next one that I have here is one which is even more challenging, and this is Maahir Black. Maahir the Black Edition. This one is a moss leather, I think some florals, but it comes off as very smoky, dense, intense. It's like very room filling. You don't even need to overspray this one because it's that thick, but it's got this masculine touch to it, and that is not even the issue with this fragrance. It is quite hard to pull off. It is not one that is going to be super mass appealing, not at all. It is quite complex. I think complex is the word I would describe this one. It is quite complex. It is not like mass appealing at all. I find it even quite challenging for a fragrance if you want to wear it on its own, unless you probably mix it with other gentle mass appealing fragrances. Then it will make a lot of sense. On its own, this one is beautiful, but I will not recommend it for anyone who is like so new into fragrances and looking to explore and train his or her nose. This one is not the one to start with. Once you get used to, you can probably sample this one because it's quite a challenging one, and it will not be the one people are going to give you compliments on. So that will be the second one. Then I'll come to this third one, which to me is a beautiful one, but I also find it quite complex and not super beginner friendly. And this one is Black Afghano by Fragrance World. It is obviously a dupe of Nasmato's Black Afghano, so it has that cannabis floral, woody sort of touch to it. The cannabis here is quite prominent. There's not one that is like subtle. It is not subtle, that much. So once you have it on, you need to be sort of confident, because as soon as you enter into a room, someone can smell that sort of cannabis-like, fragrance. And I don't think it is one that a lot of people would want to be associated with. So you need to be careful. Even if you are used to fragrances, you need to be a little careful when you put you spray this one, because overspraying this one is going to come across as a bit too dirty, in my opinion. So this is not one like Black Afghano. It's not one that I would just say just pick it up if you are new in the whole fragrance collection game. You need to really appreciate some sort of unique, but because this one is predominantly like a cannabis floral woody fragrance, so If you don't want to smell like that, then you have to just stay away from this one. So this next one is a floral civet sort of animalic fragrance, and it is a Western fragrance or a designer fragrance, and this is first by Van Cleef and Arpels. It is apparently the fragrance, one of the fragrances that Princess Diana used to wear. It is a very classy floral, you know, very sophisticated ladylike scent, but it has this sort of civet, or like what will be commonly referred to as, you know, like the anal glands of a cat, which comes off as animalic. So you get that sort of animalic pea-like scent to it, with some very strong aldehydes to it. This has been compared to Chanel No. 5, and you know, rightly so. I have this Chanel No. 5, the low version here. I tried it together, you know, I tried them, and they smell so much alike. You know, you don't get much differences from them. So it is quite a challenging one. You know, Chanel No. 5 is quite a challenging fragrance for a lot of people because of that aldehyde and those civet or strong animalic nuance it has. It also comes off as a bit vintagey, so a lot of people do not really see it as modern and fresh. You know, they don't see it as a modern and fresh floral, and this is just like that. So if you are not used to those kind of strong aldehydic vintage like fragrances, I would not recommend this as a beginner. This is a beautiful, sophisticated, elegant one. However, I would say you need to sample this one before you even try and buy a full bottle. If you're a beginner, I would not recommend this for you at all. I'll just say go for something a bit more, you know, fresh, you know, like any other fresh floral would be highly recommended, rather than Van Cleef and Arpels first. This one is quite a challenging one, so you need to be prepared for that. Then I come to this floral oud and rose combination by my Perfumes Arabiat, which is Oud Al Layl. And to me, this one, I would just say it is like one that you need to sample before you even try to buy. It is not for everyone. It is quite heavy. It is very potent. It is beast mode. It is one that can be a little even offensive if you even overspray, or even if you spray and people are in close proximity to you. It is not the most appealing or the most mass appealing scent, but it's a beautiful one. You know, you need to appreciate certain types of scents before you can appreciate Oud Al Layl by my Perfumes Arabiat. It is heady, you know, it can be a little too much, it can be too beastly, very potent, overly potent even at some to some extent. So you need to appreciate oud rose combination with some heavy and also very piercing sugar, you know, sort of vibe to it. You need to appreciate all those things before you can say you're buying a full bottle of Oud Al Layl by my Perfumes Arabiat. It is not the most mass appealing one. I have Watani Gold Intense, which I much prefer over this one. They are in the same sort of family, you know, fragrance family, and that one is gentle, more sophisticated, much more, you know, much more better, you know, version of Oud Al Layl. So if you are looking for something like, and this one is also like gives you that stereotypical Middle Eastern, you know, vibes. So if you don't really want to get into that strong oudi beast mode scent, then this one will not be the one for you, like as a beginner. So this next one is a celebrity fragrance, and this is Adam Levine for hair. It is basically a woody sandalwood with some marigold, you know, which is like a very thick piercing sort of floral. It is definitely not beginner friendly. It is quite unique. You know, I think unique is like a word I would rather say than to say anything negative. You know, it is quite unique. It is not like the most super mass appealing scent. It is one that can be a little off-putting, especially when you overspray, you know, because I've had that experience of overspraying this one and scaring someone off, you know, and I had to just get out of the house for the person to be okay. So this is not the one that I will recommend for a beginner at all. If you're looking into a floral sort of woody sandalwood scent, this one is not it for you. It is quite heady. It can be a little headache inducing if you overspray. It is also quite a beast mode. You know, it is also quite a beast mode. It can be a little too much if you don't apply it well. It is more for the evening, you know, and more for colder sort of weather than the usual everyday. You know, it's not like every day, so it is not like super friendly, and I will not recommend it for a beginner. So that is Adam Levine for hair. Then I come to this one, which is a Middle Eastern fragrance, and this is Raghba the OG. This one is like, you either love it or you don't, you know, you either love it or you don't. It is like vanilla incense with some floral, some woods. To me personally, you know, it's been raved about a lot, but personally it is not one that I would recommend for anyone who is like who loves even vanilla and is looking into exploring, you know, Middle Eastern vanillas. This one is not the one that I will initially recommend unless, you know, you train your nose that much and you can appreciate all manner of, you know, scents. This one is like quite polarizing to me. It is quite obnoxious. It gives me it's like a heavy smoker's spit to me. You know, it's like someone who is like a heavy, you know, smoker, and the person spits, you know, that kind of smell. It's like a bit smoky with that sort of saliva mix. It is not appealing to me. You know, it is not one that I would recommend, you know, for even people who are experienced in, you know, the whole fragrance collection game, let alone recommending to someone who is new. I will not recommend this. Even the Ragbah Wood Intense is not one that I will recommend to be a beginner friendly, because that one is also thick and heavy and a bit, you know, of a beast mode. This one is equally a beast mode, but the scent profile is not like the most mass appealing, although it is quite unique. You know, it's been known to be a dupe of Zejov's Ideal Bouquet, I believe that is the name, but to me it is not like the most appealing one to start your collection with, you know, unless you try it and it's something that you can, you know, go along with. Then you can, you know, pick a bottle up. But to me it is not a beginner friendly fragrance. Then this next one I have here is like a vintage fragrance. It was launched back in 1985. It is like super obnoxious, thick, heavy, everything that you may not want in a vintage floral vanillic fragrance. And this fragrance is Obsession by Calvin Klein. I think it has that sort of 80s, you know, 80s touch to it. As soon as you smell it, you know it smells like that kind of vintagey. There is nothing modern about it, you know, it doesn't have any modern sort of vibe to it. It gives you that sort of 80s, early 90s, you know, vibes. It has a time and a place, you know, it has a time and a place in my opinion, but I don't think it is like one that I have to recommend for a beginner. This one can be a little much, you know, it is super beast mode. It lasts, you know, for a long time. So if you have to be committed, you need to be committed to this fragrance before you wear it, because once you put it on and you begin not to, you know, like it and you want to put it off, unless you take your bath, you know. And I will not recommend it for a beginner, because I think it is quite heavy, quite vintagey, or what people will term as matured smelling, you know. So for the younger crowd, it might not be the most appealing one to them. So sample this before, you know, maybe you buy a full bottle. And for me, this one, you know, it's been around for all these years, but it's still quite, you know, on a higher price, you know, as compared to other older, you know, fragrances. I think this one you can get it for around 45, 50. Even when I checked online, some are selling it for as high as 78, 80 sort of dollars. And I guess for an older fragrance, I expected it to have, you know, the price to have gone down, but it's still quite an expensive one to me. So you need to at least try this one. I will not say it is the most friendly one to begin your fragrance collection with. And then I have the last one here, which is also a Tom Ford dupe, and this is by Hours Ard Al Zaafaran, and this is Oud 24 Hours. It is a dupe of Tom Ford's Black Orchid, which is the truffle, is it truffle, vanilla, chocolate, you know, oak mossy sort of feel. It is quite different, you know, it is different, it is unique. It is one that has been loved for all these years, you know, and even this one is like a watered watered down version, but I will still not recommend it as like something for a beginner. It is quite different, you know, has that sort of floral or the orchid, you know, which is like a fantasy note, you know. It has that coupled with that truffle. It is quite earthy, you know. It is quite earthy. It is not like bright and airy and mass appealing, you know. It is also very unisex in nature, but it has also some powdery touches to it. But I will not recommend this for a beginner because the scent is quite on the unique side. It is not like an everyday scent. It is one that you also have to train your nose to be able to appreciate it better, you know. And a lot of people have this fragrance, even the original, it is super loved, but I don't think it is for everyone. So I think you also need to at least sample this one before. But if you're a beginner, all these 10 fragrances, you know, you just go ahead and sample them. They are good, you know, they have a time and a place in, you know, that is why I still have them in my collection. I use them because they serve a purpose in my collection. However, it will not be my first recommendation for anyone who is new and looking to grow a collection or even expand his or her collection. I will recommend some, you know, if you are sort of getting used to the whole fragrance, you know, thing, and you want to explore outside your comfort zone. Those are the times that I'll recommend these ones. So that is all I have for you, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate that. Thank you so much, and I hope you found this video useful. So I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.